This week, we're taking a look at an interesting legend of mysterious creatures unique to the western part of Michigan. These little people are said to have large heads and are only spoken as melonheads. They're said to creep around the woods of Elgin County, scaring anyone that stumbles upon their territory. Before we get too deep into this legend, if you have a buddy that you consider a good pal, invite them over for a drink. When they arrive, surprise them with a smash of the like button and ask them to pour the drinks. And if you like mysterious content and mysteries, consider hugging the subscribe button and high-fiving the bell notification so you can get the most up-to-date on the next mystery videos. Stories of their origins differ, but one thing's for sure, they scared a lot of people throughout the years. With the vast network of trails in Lake Town Township surrounding the Felt Mansion and the state park, these creatures are said to live in underground series of tunnels, sometimes jumping out and attacking people to death and eating their remains. All the stories of how these creatures got here has to deal with people who suffer from a rare medical condition known as hydrocephalus, which causes excess fluid in the brain, forcing the skull to grow at abnormal sizes. One of these stories that have been told throughout the years talks about how these children, they lived in an insane asylum very close, if not in, the Felt Mansion, where there was this evil doctor who was known as Dr. Crow, who had been tasked by the federal government shortly after the Second World War to treat and take care of these children. Instead, though, Dr. Crow performed horrific medical experiments on these children for many, many years, until one day they revolted and brutally attacked the doctor, killing and eating him and going into hiding in the woods, where they're still said to be to this day. Another version of the legend is referred to as the hermit story, which goes that a local man who was known as a hermit or a reclusive individual who was tasked to care and love for the children but refused to associate with the other townsfolk in fear that the children would be ridiculed. Many years passed and the man was being forced to leave the mansion for not paying his taxes. He knew if he had to leave the children, they would be separated. And there was a chance that they would be belittled for the rest of their life because of their medical condition. So he made a decision that the government wouldn't take proper care of the children. So he spent 2 long years digging tunnels in the forest for the children. Days before the government was tasked to expel them from the property, the man forced the children to leave. He told them, Go to the woods and don't ever come back." The day finally came when the officers arrived on the property. There was an eerie silence. Normally you could hear the children laughing in the distance and playing, but this time there was nothing. When they entered the house, they found the hermit sitting at the kitchen table, dead of a self-sustained gunshot wound. In his hand was a picture of the melon-headed children. But the officers couldn't find any children anywhere in sight. In the center of the table was a letter to the officers that stated, "This was your doing." The legend continues. The legend tells of many encounters while walking of the trails in Laketown Township, of seeing the melon-headed kids and hearing the sound of a man whimpering off in the distance, still heartbroken for having to leave these children. Have you ever heard of the Melonheads? And do you believe in the legend of the melon-headed children? And which version of the legend do you think is more accurate, believable? Leave your opinions in the comments section. And if you have any mysteries you want me to take a look into, leave me a comment. Maybe there'll be a future video with your mystery.